Welcome to part 2 of my response to Danger Dash. Enjoy. Peace. Danger Dash's other point. I like to call it let them eat cake. So Danger Dash brought up the point about the prostitute in Game of Thrones and how that they didn't really need the TNA and they didn't really need her to do it. It was just fluff and they just threw it in there just to throw it in there. Now, I agree that that risk that they take by adding on to the source material is risky. However, in this particular case with the prostitute, they do take risks with throwing this extra fluff and filler, like the storyline of the prostitute that went from Winterfell to King's Landing, the Ginger. Yeah, I don't think they should take risks like that by adding to the source material, but I happen to like her storyline. It was kind of compelling. You have this whore who's you have this prostitute from desolate, barren ass, cold ass Winterfell, and she makes enough money and she takes a trip to King's Landing and she becomes the top prostitute in Littlefinger's whorehouse. And yeah, it's a whorehouse and it sucks, but she kind of grew to power and she began handling his affairs and handling money, and he was teaching her, and it's kind of what he became to Sansa later on. So it pretty much showed how this prostitute made her way up, and it kind of showed the underbelly of King's Landing and the inner workings of Littlefinger, and you got to peek into Littlefinger's character a little bit and in seeing how he treated her, he groomed her into what he wanted her to be until she ran into Joffrey's ass.
But what do we have left once we abandon the lie? Chaos. A gaping pit waiting to swallow us all.
Chaos isn't a pit. Chaos is a ladder. Many who try to climb it fail, never get to try again. The fall breaks them.
But I digress on the prostitute. I think she was a pretty good character. Otherwise, though, I do think it was a risk that could have ended up bad, but I think it worked in that case. Dash had a nice analogy with the cake, and that's the problem with the movies today, is that they're just making this mess of shit together, and they're calling it cake, and then they're saying, let them eat cake. And Marie Antoinette also said, let them eat cake, and they decapitated her and began the French Revolution. And I'm not advocating violence, but I'm saying if these movie execs and producers don't listen to the people, there will be a revolution, and people will change the way they view that medium, i.e. Netflix. Netflix is pretty badass right now. They're doing the Marvel thing, and they've already taken out a huge entity already. So they've already got one belt, and they'll come and take you guys' belt if you don't listen. Another point I want to talk about that Danger Dash brought up was the whole Wolverine thing, like how they shot him in the head, and they knew that if they shot him in the head, it would cause him to have memory loss, and that means they could just plant this female there and kind of watch him and wait until he got his memory, and then when he got his memory they could kill him, but they didn't kill him while his memory was gone, and that shit was very confusing, and I didn't even notice that. And it was funny that they said that they would shoot him in the head and he would lose his memory. Like, how the fuck did they know that? How do they know that when they shot him in the head that he would just go into berserker mode and like just and just start cutting bitches up and shit? Origins was just horrible. You got the bad Deadpool, you got Will.i.am, you got the fucking headshot that they knew that it would cause him to have memory loss, and then they plant a girl there. Like, that's just too much. That shit was horrible. Wolverine, the other one, the other Origins Wolverine one where he went to Japan, like that shit was just mediocre too. I don't even think he stabbed anybody with his claws. He fought all the shit and they like beat his ass, kind of. Come on, it's like Wolverine. Yeah, that was the final straw with Wolverine. I will never watch that movie again. Wolverine's origin, I will never watch that shit again, unless it's to make fun of Will.i.am. Like, I'm done with it. One of my favorite points in Danger Dash's video was she brought up remakes, and everybody's pretty much hating on remakes. Like, Ghostbusters has one of the highest unlikes on a trailer of any other movie trailer in YouTube history. What is going on with that movie? Like, people really aren't feeling that Ghostbusters shit. They're remaking good movies, and I think that's what the problem is they need to just remake movies that suck, i.e. Judge Dredd. They're even talking to Carl Urban right now with Netflix. Studios want to pick it up, and that's great. And if the box office can't pick up on what the fans want, then Netflix should just come and take over.
Rapid fire.
Fuck it. The next thing I would like to talk about is Star Wars. Danger Dash talked about the relationship between Anakin Skywalker and Padme, and there was a lot of context that was left out of that situation. They left out the fact that Padme was 14, and that was in the extras. They left out the fact that she wasn't really a queen, and they have really a democratic process, and they didn't really elaborate on that until the second one. Also, she voted for no confidence in the Chancellor of Alorum, and he was the only one advocating for her. And those are just little problems within Star Wars that they explained in the extras, like they explained in the Clone Wars, like they explained in the animated shorts. And that sucks. Like, you need to have the context within the movie, and we shouldn't have to go outside of your medium to know your story. Like, you should put it all in there together. And that was a great point. Anakin and Padme was just weird, and you couple that with Hayden Christensen's badass acting, and it just made the movie it just didn't feel right all the time. And Ewan McGregor, he tried to save that movie. Like, he is very memorable. Him and even Qui-Gon Jinn, that actor, like, they tried to save the movie and with what they were given, but it was just written horribly. And you could tell George Lucas needs more practice writing, or he should have brought someone in to help him write with the actors and coach the actors, because Hayden Christensen was terrible. And like I said before, he's just outacted by a cartoon character. Like, that's terrible. Like, and that is the end of part 2 to my response to Danger Dash. Hope you enjoyed. This is the Black Nerd 2.0. Peace.